In this video, we're taking apart an Atlas transfer case. The reason we're taking apart an Atlas transfer case is to change out the input. Now, there's a few different reasons you would change out an input. One is if you change transmissions from your current application. If you have an Atlas transfer case and then you want to change transmissions, that's one reason to change out the input. Now, that's the reason I had taken apart one of these before. I went from a Jeep transmission to a Chevy transmission. So I had to change out the input and add an adapter. In this case, I bought a transfer case that was originally for a Chevy 4L60. I'm putting it back to a Jeep 23 spline. So what I had to do, order a new input shaft and the seal kit. In this video, we're going to be going over, taking apart the Atlas and changing out the input. It's a lot easier than you might think it is. The first thing I did was remove the bolts that held the oil drain plate in place. Next thing I did was remove the bolts from the side of the case that hold the big center pin in place. Then I just take a punch and I can punch that pin right out of there. On this particular case, it came out super easy. The last case I did, it came out really difficult. The next thing I did was use an old piece of wire to get down around the big center gear so that I could pull it up and out evenly. It's hard to get your hand in there because there's not a lot of room. And so the other thing I did was twist the shafts while trying to pull up on it, and it allowed it to come loose. You just gotta be careful because those bearings will come flying out of there as well. So the last time I did one of these, it was on a newer case, but the biggest trouble I had was getting this pin out. I had to beat on that thing way harder than I thought I should have. And it was very stubborn coming out. This one tapped out very easily. I just used a little punch and it slid right out. The part that I'm having problems with is getting this seal off right here. This is a real pain in the butt. This one's now the stubborn one this time around. So, the mistake I made right here was accidentally taking the rear output off. I totally didn't need to do that, so don't do that. I had to do a little research just to make sure I'm doing this right. Now it's starting to go. It feels very stubborn. And I'm trying to hit it evenly all the way around, so it comes out evenly and not crooked. But I don't remember this one giving me trouble last time. But it's been 5 years since I had one of these apart. All right, there we go. Whew. What an ordeal. This is how far we got it torn down. And right here is the input that I'm trying to replace. Now, unfortunately, it is this older style. I'll try to point out. You can see it's 6 big splines. I have a spare from the newer style with the 32 splines, and this is the style that I have. Now, the problem with this is not the right one for my transfer case, so I have to order a whole new input. It's a little bit of a bummer, but I'll have to order. I thought I had the right one for once, but nope. Now that I got this apart, now that I know what I have, I can call Advanced Adapters. They probably would have known anyway, just based on the serial number that's on the case. Last time I called them, they knew all of that. I'm going to leave this tore down like this for now and get parts on order. And we will get the right input. We can get this thing put back together. Alright, so we got a snap ring right here. After placing a call to Advanced Adapters, I had the right parts in my hand in less than a week. They have such great customer service. So once I got the input and the seal kit in, and all of that was less than $200, I could start taking apart the rest of this input seal assembly. Once I get the snap ring off, the rest of it just comes apart, and I try to take note on how that came apart in the order. It really only goes back together one way. It's pretty basic.
All right, so we got this gear off. Just had to pull it pretty good. Then we got this assembly. We got one more big snap ring in there that goes the opposite way. And then it looks like the bearing just presses onto the shaft. And it's already out.
After removing the snap ring, I could then use the press to get the bearing out of there.
All right, now I gotta press that bearing out of there. We'll just press the bearing backwards out of there. It's not in there that tight, it's just aluminum. I'll just hold these so when they fall. So here's the old bearing, and there's the old input. Here we got our new bearing. We've got that front piece, so basically I'm going to probably press that bearing in there and then come back and push this through. I could probably do it like that. There's a number of ways I could do this. That's what we'll try. All right. Put this seal in. I just got this flat seal driver. I could use the press, but this works just fine too. And the press, it just goes, and you can correct it a little easier by tapping these sides down. So it's going on straight. It went around nice and flush. Once we got the seal on, and we can put this on. So now I'm taking the input, dropping it down in there. And it goes down pretty smooth. We'll know once we get to the bottom. Oh, we just bottomed out. We got this assembly pretty well put back together. I got this assembly pretty well together. Bearing turns good, all that sort of stuff. We got the snap ring back in there. Now we've got to put this gear back in there. There's only one way it really goes. This entire assembly. And we push that on there. And there's room there for one last snap ring. So we got this last snap ring to go on there. Now we got to put that guy on there, and we'll have this assembly about put together. I also got this O-ring, a brand new O-ring that goes right there. What's nice is you don't have to like slather these full of RTV and stuff because they've got this O-ring right there. All right, we got the snap ring back in there. So we got this whole assembly all ready to go. And just checking for any dirt, any debris that might be on there. Now, we'll spin this guy around. I'm dropping bolts that I shouldn't be dropping. And it should just slide right back in there. You can see right here, this has an edge where this O-ring's going to sit. This was the hardest thing to get out of here. So I want to make sure it lines up just right. Oh, they sent me some nice new Allen to go in there. I'm going to take it really easy, start them off so it pulls in there nice and even. I also have to be careful not to strip anything out because it is all aluminum. I'm going to do this by hand because I'm afraid I might overdo it with the impact. So as I get this back together, I'm just making sure everything spins free, everything shifts okay, all that good stuff. So now I've got these guys to put in. These are these little spacers that go. Let me try to show where they go. Right here. They have this little detent, and I'm just going to use a little grease to help hold that thing in place, a little sticky grease or gear oil, whatever works. All right, so it just took me a lot of finesse to get this pin lined up and not have those washers drop down. I used the grease to hold them in place. I pushed this pin on there just enough to hold the washer, and then I tried to hold the other one with my finger, and It took me a few attempts, and we're just about there. As we can see it popping out the other side. I tried to line this up, remembering that bolt has to go right there to hold those in place. So we have this one little bolt. It's going to go right there. And then when we have one for the other side, I'll probably just put a dab of Loctite on those to make sure they don't rattle loose. And then we've got our Atlas. All right, so we got the transfer case back together, making sure everything works and everything spins okay. Now if you look, you see these little brass guys right there. They're what helps the gears line up. So as you're shifting, those have just a little bit of play in them and they move back and forth. Now the thing is, I've had 2 brand new Atlas transfer cases on both of those buggies back there. And when I first got them, they shifted terrible. And I was like, man, how are people always making these look like they shift so good? There's a couple tips for what I've found for shifting these things. One is when they're brand new, they're going to shift stiff. All these gears and everything are really square and stiff, and they just don't want to shift. But another thing I do is I put the vehicle into neutral when I want to do like a front dig or something like that. So right now we're in 4 low. You can see I'm spinning this one. You can see the output is, the rear output right there is spinning slower than what I'm putting into it. So we want to say you want to do a front dig. Now I just shifted this into neutral, so when I spin this input, the output, the rear axle, isn't spinning at all. It's independent. Is go like this. Now essentially the whole transfer case is in neutral. That's in the middle position. So as the input spins, nothing happens. So then say we want to do a rear dig in high. So just rear only in high. There we go, we're spinning it like that. And you can see it's a lot more of, it's like a 1-to-1 ratio right there on 4 high. And then so when I put it into front 4 high, same thing. What I've found is the front always likes to shift before the rear does. See that? So there's the front. Notice how, and then it just doesn't want to engage the rear. But if I'm wanting to engage the front, look at how nice that front shifts. That's neutral. So we're in neutral now. Now we go back. That's front only, low. And I just shift it through everything, make sure everything works, make sure I didn't mess anything up in there. And everything shifts nicely. So I think we're good to go. What I got to do, I got one more gasket that goes right here. And then we put this on, seal this thing up. I'm going to check for any more dirt and debris. And we got to tighten these guys right here. These are just 3/8 3 points, or 3/8 12 points, or whatever. I just have to tighten down. So anyway, that's what makes an Atlas transfer case so great. All these gears are much stronger than the chain configurations. Those chains can stretch and all that sort of stuff. Another thing didn't mention is the thickness of this case. The case is super strong, a lot thicker than the Dana 300. So all in all, to get this used one, I think I got it on Marketplace for $2,600. The kit was $200 to change out the input. And then so for $2,800, I have a really good transfer case that I know is going to hold up to what I'm doing. And I'm not taking something else and just dumping a bunch of money into it. There's nothing wrong with that. I've seen people have a lot of luck with fixing up Dana 300s and other stuff. I've just, for the money, it's always just worked out better for me to get Atlases. And all my stuff, I just run Atlases. And then I don't have to worry about transfer cases being an issue. Put this gasket on. Put this on. We'll tighten everything up. And then this thing is ready to go. Tighten all these bolts up. And then this thing will be ready to mount in that Jeep.